thinking is punishable, right thinking will be as quickly rewarded. You will find it an effective combination.
What the hell?
Sorry about that. That's it. Ignore that. Just hit the other clip.
What is it you pray for?
Again?
So yeah, look, man, I've been kind of out of it the last couple of days. I just forgot to switch that out. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 111th episode of Abyssal Musings, where Samuel is a complete professional and never screws up anything ever. Joining, joining me is my partner, who's very irritated with me at the moment, Lawrence Knight.
Hey, what's up?
So sorry about that, folks. Something that I meant to take care of this morning, I got distracted with some other stuff, and I just didn't get around to it. So I do apologize about that. But yeah, well, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. 111 episodes in. We're officially as old as Bilbo Baggins. It's our 111st episode. We should have a good one for you tonight. Remember, we're live on 3 platforms, Twix, Rumble, and YouTube. You drop a chat in any one of those places, and we will be sure to try to highlight it. And before I forget something else that's important, it's been that kind of day. I'm going to go ahead and say hello to the chat, and then Lawrence can commence yelling at me. So first we got Lepo de Fleur first, I guess. We got Jacob Gallo in the chat. We have Shadow of Hawk. And he says he's not going to be here for a little while, but he immediately turns around and says different. And by immediately, there's like a 4-hour gap between those messages, but it's still pretty funny. We got Ryan Legion Games with us. Hello. We've got Kohai Masochist. Good to see you. BTK's in the chat. Hello. We've got Beak with us. Hello, Beak. Good to see you, my man. Aaron Laura, who is starting things off offensively. So yeah. Welcome in. I think. Oh, nope. I was wrong. There's JB. Howdy. Good to see you, man. And I think that's everybody who's currently in chat. If you drop a comment at any point, I will try to highlight it. And of course, if it's relevant to the conversation, we will be addressing it as well. Okay, Barry, if you wanna go ahead and get the yelling over with.
So tonight, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I do not expect this to be a long one tonight. It is the last episode of the year. There will be no Monsters Ball tonight, but it will return next week. Tonight we're gonna take things, chill out a little bit. But we do have something for you guys. We've got one bit of infamous news. That's I think it's gonna raise some eyebrows. It definitely raised mine. Um, and then you know how it is whenever I author a quiz. Usually the next week I like to do one. I like to participate in one. And so I scoured the YouTube earth and I found a murder mystery type of quiz. I found a website that is similar to Sporkle, but it doesn't force timers on you. It looks like somebody made a sort of horror mystery quiz. So we'll play that, and then we've got some fail army TikTok videos that I stumbled across that I thought was pretty funny. And that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, it's the end of the year, and I just wanted to to have a chill night with you guys. We talk a bit, and before we gear back up going into the new year. With the Monsters Ball, it's not a laziness type of thing. Is I I I'm in process of taking out there's some combatants that I'm taking out because I went back through the list and I was like, there's someone here that would just outright get decimated. They would just get decimated. It's like they shouldn't even be on the list considering who's on there. There's other very powerful, monsters, so to speak, or beings that haven't even that haven't even had a match yet. So I'm actually, like I said, just doing some retooling and changing up some stuff and taking out some that would, kind of some were kind of repetitive because it was like I looked on there and it was like five vampires on there. I was like, well, you know, we've already done one or two. We don't need we don't need all these vampires. Let me take these off. You know, and like I said, next week we didn't do the Cenobites versus the Deadites, so that's gonna be next week, and then we'll go from there, and we'll welcome in the new year.
Indeed. Looking forward to it. And as Larry was just intimating, this is the last Abyssal Musings of the year. When we return next week, it will be a new year, 2025. Looking forward to that, and hoping to close this year out as pleasantly as possible. So,
That's a good.
welcome in, everybody.
I was gonna put her on there, but she would have got mad, so I left her off.
Yeah, that would not have made her happy. So we don't have Suka's death wish.
Yeah, yeah, he is dead set on making that woman hunt him down.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it sounds like fun, man. It sounds like a good time, which is awesome because frankly, I could use one. Today's been a hell of a day. I'm not going to go into specifics, but yeah, it's just from the time I got out of bed, it was like everything that could possibly go wrong fucking did. So, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be relaxing. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, this, the holiday, I think the whole year just caught up with me, and my brain's been fried all this week. It was just like, no, you need a week off, man. You need a week. You need some time to, recharge and get your battery straight up. Look at me now. I'm not even sleepy and I'm yawning. But I would say, Christmas was good for my kids. So you remember the Hot Wheels sets? I mean, they've, for the most part, they've looked the same for years. But I bought my son this Hot Wheels Ultimate Garage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like $100, and I bought it, and I was like, okay, well the box is big, but that it is what it is, and it was a huge box, and I got back and I just didn't think about it, and when I got back and I started looking at the box, my wife and I were looking at the box, and she was like, "This thing's gonna be 3 feet tall once we put it together." And sure enough, I went and did something, and she put it together while I was doing something, and I went in this room, and I've never seen anything built by Hot Wheels. I've never seen anything that big in my life. This thing, that thing is huge, and he just he's having a ball with it. And then we got him got him some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, got him a Turtle Van, and got him a Switch, Nintendo Switch, and he's just he's just the happiest kid, and got some stuff for my daughter. So, but yeah, no, I mean it was a quiet Christmas, and I think that's just what I needed, just like you said, this year's been an interesting one. I would say the last 4 months has been a roller coaster for me, or the last 5. Hey, it's Clifton.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year, I think, for a lot of us. But you in particular, you've had a hell of a year. And again, I'm not going to go into specifics, but here's hoping 2025 is looking up a bit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's interesting, I would say 2024 was it was a tough year, but it's by no means the worst year I've ever had. The worst year that I've ever had was 2008. That was
Isn't
the
it?
worst.
Isn't it funny how you remember like precisely what the worst year of your life was? Right? Because
Oh yeah.
mine was 1994. Worst fucking year ever. And I've gone through a lot of shit since then because that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's still nothing has topped it since.
Yeah, for real, man. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's topped. Aaron said in 2000. Shoot.
2000. Yeah.
Well, you know what, Aaron? That was the year. That was the year that I went to my first duty station. And I got sent to. I think I told you the story how I ended up getting stationed in South Korea. It was my first
Mhm.
duty station. And I remember when I got that. We were in when I was in my AIT training. Everybody was getting their assignments, and this is just for those of you who don't know. And everybody was getting just got. We were in formation. Drill sergeant comes out. She's like, so and so you're going to Fort Hood. So and so you're going here. She goes all the way down the line. She gets to me and it's one other guy. And she goes, "Oh, um, you two, they don't have we don't have an assignment for you guys
Good to know.
yet. You're gonna have to wait. It's gonna be a couple of days." And me and him, we just looked at each other, and we were
Cool.
like, "Oh boy, okay, here comes the screw job." And I was in,
Hey, man.
we got a formation, and I'm walking with him, and he was just like, "They're about to f us." He said,
Mhm.
"I'll bet you we're going overseas." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You notice everybody that got their assignments, they're all stationed in the country, but you and me, all of a sudden, they don't have an assignment for us, but they got one for everybody else." We go back in the building, come to find out, one of the other trainees, our first sergeant, that was, the first sergeant is, is the main sergeant that's in charge of a company. It's usually the first
Mhm.
sergeant and then the captain. And turns out our first sergeant was a family friend of one of the other trainees. And someone came and told her and said, "Hey, yeah, she was getting stationed overseas somewhere, and she was getting stationed in South Korea. She didn't want it, and she went crying to the first sergeant, and he pulled some strings and got her out of it." And me and the other guy, we looked at each other, and we were just like, "That's why one of us didn't get our damn assignment." And sure enough, I was the one that they pulled. They pulled my assignment and gave it to her. The other guy got Germany. I got South Korea. So I was mad. I was heated until, and she was happy as hell. She was like, "I'm going to Fort Hood. I'm going to Fort Hood," like just bragging about it, right? And I was just looking, and somebody walked over to me, one of the guys of my platoon, and he was like, "Bro, don't even sweat it. She gonna get hers." And I was like, "You think so?" He's like, "Man, hey, deployments are going on everywhere." And he was like, for a matter of fact, a lot of people that's getting stationed at Fort Hood, they're getting Fort Hood's doing deployments to Bosnia and other places. So he was like, "Don't even let it get to you." The next day we see her, she's sitting down, looking like her world just ended. And I walked over to her and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And she said, "My assignment." I said, "Well, you're going to Fort Hood. I mean, you were happy about that yesterday." She was like, "My unit is deploying to Bosnia." She was like, it was like Bosnia or somewhere. It was like, no, it wasn't Bosnia. It was another assignment. I can't remember. It was somewhere in Africa, but it
Yeah, I
was,
was going to say Bosnia. What year was she being deployed?
well, this was 99 when we got our assignments, but
Okay.
Bosnia
Okay. Yeah.
Bosnia is a constant. There's certain deployments that are still going on that just they stop advertising
Sure.
it.
Sure. Sure. We were just more
um,
publicly invested in the whole Bosnia
yeah,
situation. I think in like between 1998 and 2000. I think.
yeah, and that was one of them. But where she went, it was somewhere in Africa, and I can't remember, and it was worse than the Bosnia assignment. It was worse. It was the absolute place that none of us wanted to go. And I was laughing my butt off. And I just thought to myself, I was like, "That's what you get. That's what you get for what you did to me." You know? And I went to South Korea and I had a ball. Now I didn't I didn't like certain people that I was serving with, but I enjoyed the country. I had a great time, and just the look of that girl's face, it was priceless. But that's what happens when you go around when you do sneaky stuff like that. She thought she was, she ended up that would have been me. You know.
Yeah. So, so for those of us who haven't served, just to clear something up, when you said AIT, that's Army Infantry Training, right?
It's Army individual training.
Okay.
Or I can't remember the Army something. It's instructional training, something like that. It's your job training.
Sure. Yeah. No, I was just trying to clear that up because I don't think I'd actually heard that acronym before, but I've heard a lot of military acronyms, so I had a pretty even shot at guessing correctly.
But yeah, no, that was I would have preferred to have gone to Germany, but shoot, they were doing the same thing with Germany. Guys, as soon as they get into Germany, next thing they knew, they were being flown out to Iraq. I mean, went in there 5 minutes, and then they're getting on another plane. So, so I ended up where I was supposed to go, and I was cool, and I made it all the way through. I was like, all right. Don't know what happened to that girl after that, but like I said, I didn't shed a tear for her. I was like, that's what you get. But anyway, with that said, so tonight, guys, before we get into it, we've got a couple of special announcements. One of the announcements is one of the people that we've had on our panels before, Iron Oxide and his wife, Scream Queen Selena. So they have a show that they do every Friday called Rogues Gallery. Comes on much earlier. Comes on earlier than us. Goes for about 2.5 hours. But Iron is trying to get his channel to 500 subscribers by New Year's, basically. So if you guys, it's good. It's great content. It is a fun watch. You will not be bored. Dropping a link in the chat. If you guys are inclined to go ahead and like and subscribe, and check out his show. Don't just like and subscribe, but check it out because Iron does. I mean, he really does have great content.
Well, we've had both Iron and Selena on not only on this channel but on this very show. They're good people. A lot of fun to stream with, and generally all around pretty solid dude. Dude and dudette, I guess. I was about to say dudes, but Selena's very much a woman. But yeah, it's BTK says advanced individual training. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like I said, I haven't served. I've been told by a number of veterans, including my co-host here, that sometimes I sound like I have the way that I talk, but I never actually served in the military. So there's some things I don't know. So I do, it doesn't hurt to ask questions, I guess. So, but yeah, definitely check out Iron's channel. He's a good dude. He does, I think they focus a little bit more on pop culture content.
They focus on a variety of stuff. I mean, they had Professor Savage Dad on there. He went into a full rant about how IT work is being outsourced, for $2, for cheaper labor. So it's Rogues Gallery is a bit of a mixed bag, but it is hilarious. Their show is hilarious. It is not boring at all. That you watch that show. Some shows you watch and that you've sat there for 2 hours. I sat there, for 2 hours. I was watching earlier tonight, and I didn't realize. I looked up and I was like, "Oh shoot! I gotta get ready for my show."
Yeah, and you can see there on the first thumbnail that's pulled up right there. He's got that looks like Superman if he wasn't afraid of green rocks, or no green rocks for short. He's a decent dude too, and was the founder and president of the Legion of Memers while that was still an active thing. Good dude. They get involved with some interesting people, so definitely go check them out.
Yeah, definitely. Second thing is, so there's another couple that we've had on before.
Several times.
Yes, we've had them on several times. They are outstanding, good people, and that is Sheep Sidian and Horror Amarada. They are getting married, and they have a well, it's not a GoFundMe, it's something else.
It's a Give Send Go. It was the alternative that popped up when the Canadian truckers had all their assets on GoFundMe seized and frozen. So
Yeah, but I'm gonna drop the link in the chat for that. If any of you guys are inclined to donate whatever's on your heart to donate, so that these two can have so they can have a decent wedding. I think they want to, from what if I remember correctly, I think they were trying to do something in Vegas.
yeah, they're planning it for the next I think F&T meetup that's out in Vegas next summer. And I think that's where they're planning on it. But they're also very, very good people. Two of the more interesting and solid denizens of the internet that I've encountered in the last couple of years. Definitely. If you don't want to, donate or can or whatever, I don't have enough money to do it myself. Send them some well wishes. They're awesome. They're awesome. We'll have them back on the channel at some point soon here too.
No. Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely want to get them back on. I'd like to get Iron and Selena back on also for ideally for the next quiz.
Sure. Yeah. We can definitely look into that. I'd love to have all these guys. I'd love to have them on all the time, but unfortunately, we are all busy running our own shit. Like Horror's running 2 different channels, one of which she puts a ton of work into. Sheep City and works for Eric July. He runs most of his social media shit for the Ripaverse. Iron's building up his channel. Selena is very involved in the horror community and doing stuff like that. And I mean, we're all busy people, so it does become kind of a challenge when you're trying to coordinate everybody for live streams. But if we can ever get all that to work out, that'd be, it's always fun when the stars align and everything works out just right. And we'd definitely love to have them back on and will at some point. It's just a matter of scheduling, really. Also, I would like to point out that Horror is one of the only other Eldritch Space entities on YouTube that is obviously so. There are 4 of us that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are others, and 2 of them are much bigger YouTubers than we are. The other 2 being, of course, Mahler and now I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's got a blue octopus head. British dude. Omegon. That's it. Omegon and Mahler. And so of the Eldritch entities, the lesser known ones, we got to stick together. Horror's one of us.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not an Eldritch Horror, so I don't know anything about that. I am a knight, so I'll leave it there. But yeah, on to tonight's news. So this isn't anything squeamish, but this is one of those articles that's out there. So it's medical. There it is. So I came across this, and I'm not posting this as something that's funny. It's just this is something I've never heard of this. I've never heard of somebody going through something like this, but I can only imagine what this lady has gone through. Now I intentionally didn't read it, because I wanted to, just have live reactions to this. But it says that she's 26-year-old Annie Charlotte discovered she had uterus didelphys when she was 16. So the uterus develops and 2 ducts, which generally combine to form a single uterus. However, in those with the condition, the ducts do not combine and 2 uteruses develop. In some cases, 2 cervixes and 2 vaginal canals can also be created. Wow. Theoretically, it means she can become pregnant in both reproductive systems at the same time.
That's unfortunate. That sounds
That's
like that's not fun.
I mean, I mean, medically, could she even live through something like that? That's, I mean,
Well, I mean, yeah, I imagine giving birth probably would be the worst thing, right? Because if the two uteruses are basically combined into one, but she's got two vaginal, like, where's the baby coming from, right? You could run into some issues there with like serious tearing and that kind of thing, I suppose. But I imagine that's probably the worst part of it.
what if
Assuming
she
like
had twins though, man? What if she had twins and they both decided, hey, okay, well you're going through that one, I'm going through the other one.
I mean that's possible, I suppose. I don't think they'd be that organized that young, but you know, I don't know, but I've heard of the similar thing happening with men. It's pretty rare there too. They call it diphallic, where you end up with like two sets of sex organs or whatever. So it does happen, but it's very, very rare in mammals, particularly of the great ape variety, that are not marsupials. And marsupials, it's a very common thing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think all marsupial males have two penises. So, but she's not a marsupial; she's human. So that's a pretty. I don't know if it doesn't interfere with her day-to-day life. I guess then it's not really a problem.
Well, it's interfering with her dating life. I mean, look at what she's saying. Quote, now I'm on a lot of dating apps and people will be like, oh, you're the two P's girl.
I mean, yeah. Oh, she does OnlyFans. That's what that looks like.
She says she gets a lot of questions and it often turns explicit. Men ask if she's had two at a time. When she says that she hasn't, the men quickly offer to sort her out.
Well, that's why you don't. This is where it gets stupid. Okay, if you have something like this, if you're sensitive about it, right? I mean, I'm sure it does come up in her dating life, right? But why would you come out publicly on the internet or in a news article and talk about it, right? If you didn't want that kind of attention.
Yeah, advertise it and then dress like that.
Yeah. Right, Aaron? That's what I'm saying. Shouldn't have said anything to the world about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's probably not the only person with this affliction, but I'd imagine most of them keep that shit to themselves.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the right guy would have kept it to himself too. I mean, you're not gonna go around telling another guy, oh, my wife, my girl's got two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because that's personal stuff. Not everybody needs to know that. Like her spouse would if she was married, sure, but like it isn't something that is necessary to tell the world at large.
It says she's rarely asked questions about who she is as a person.
Yeah. Well, that's because you went out there and you made this your whole public identity. That's why you're not asked questions about it, about who you are as a person. It's because you made this the focus.
Right. And then she recalled one specific encounter with a high profile man she'd been dating. She said things had been going well. Then after a few drinks, he'd come over with his friend. Next minute, he said he'd been thinking he and his mate wanted to be tunnel buddies in separate vaginas. And he recalled.
Jesus.
Charlotte felt like he thought about it and rehearsed the speech. Annie was taken back. Eventually, she entertained the idea. However, circumstances at the time meant the man's goal couldn't happen. In another circumstance, she had a man rock up to a date with his friend. She was stunned and asked what was going on. He said, well, two vaginas, so I thought two guys would be appropriate.
So that's not cool. That's not cool.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
You know, I still think she's inviting this kind of scrutiny by being as open about it as she has been here, obviously, or we wouldn't know anything about this. But you don't show up to a date with your buddy, you know, like that. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I don't like this at all. This is that's messed up. She couldn't believe what was happening. She felt like the human and respect element was missing. Charlotte added that no matter what kind of work she did, she should be able to go on a date without being a tick box. Quote,
That's
with
not
work,
true.
yeah. Quote, with work, it's so easy to be like, it's just a job. But with my dating life, I am more than just my two vaginas, she said. She has she says sex was an important part of the relationship, but now she feels as though people don't want to get to know her. Instead, she feels like a box to tick off. But look at how you're dressing though. I mean, these are photos that you're posting.
Yeah, like I said, it seems like if not on OnlyFans specifically, she's doing like that kind of content, right? Which is porn. Let's face it, it's straight up porn. Um, and if that's what she's doing for a living, like she's already putting that out there in the world for people to see, right? Of course she's going to attract certain types of dudes, right? Of
Yeah, it's
course
like
she is.
that.
Like
Sorry, go ahead.
the idea that what you do for a living shouldn't affect your daily life is complete fucking nonsense. I don't it just is. You know,
Mhm.
like if you can keep that shit separate, good on you, but certain vocations, certain jobs, right? Certain
Mhm.
professions like this, right, are bound to cause you problems, right? Like
Right.
I've heard stories from retired porn actresses and even current porn actresses and all that stuff for decades about how, gosh, I wish I could just find a normal guy. And I was just like, maybe don't lead with the fact that you get fucked on screen for a living,
Or
right?
that you
Because that
did.
is yeah, because that is going to attract certain kinds of people. They're going to assume that you're easy, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to treat you like you are. And even if that's not what you want to do, that's not how you want to go about it. If you want to try and have like a normal courtship, a normal dating relationship, and maybe eventually marriage and kids, you can't do it from that starting point. You can't. It's gonna mark you. Period.
Right. And also the guy's gonna have to deal with ridicule. And if you have the kids are gonna have to deal with it. I served with a guy, right? And
Hmm.
his sister was a very, very well known porn actress at the time. And he said, "You want to know how I found out that my sister was doing porn?" He said, "I said how?" He said, "Just before I graduated high school," he said, "my senior year, one of my friends walked into me, handed me an adult magazine, and it was a full spread of my sister."
Hmm.
He said that's how he found out.
You know, or if she, say what happens if she does have kids, right? Say she gets married to a nice guy who treats her right or whatever, and then she has children with them, and they don't have any like medical complications due to her condition, right? Say everything goes smoothly.
Right.
These pictures are never going anywhere. Even if she deletes every bit of content that she ever put out on the internet, somebody archived it.
Right.
It will pop up again. And at some point, her kids are going to see that. And she's going to have to deal with them asking some very fucking uncomfortable questions.
Right. I mean, there's two caveats on that. I mean, one thing is I read an article maybe about a month ago. So there was a porn star that she got married and had kids, and she's been scouring the internet, going to all the adult free sites, contacting fans and stuff, and demanding that they delete all her videos. She's contacting the studios and trying to pull legal stuff because her kids have gotten old enough to where they're little, but they're getting old enough to where they're almost at the age to where people they'll be able to understand exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
So if people walk up to them and say, "Hey, your mom was doing this and this," she is now trying to cover her tracks because she doesn't want them to find out about what she was doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want this to seem like I'm picking on just people who whore themselves out on camera for a living, although that's definitely way up there on the list of jobs that will definitely affect your personal life, not just currently, but for years to come. But I mean, like even other kinds of professions that have lasting consequences, right? Like I never did it professionally. I was always an amateur, but I did some cage fighting when I was younger. And there are things that happened in that cage, in that octagon, that have affected parts of my life and will continue to affect parts of my life till the day I die. There are certain parts of my body that are completely devoid of feeling. There are certain parts of me that don't move like they should, you know. It, you got to think about the long-term consequences. And I was young and dumb like everybody, like a lot of other people were too. I made these mistakes and I wouldn't take them back necessarily, but there's some things that I'm like, God, it'd be nice to get out of bed and not feel like my whole skeleton's going to collapse,
Mhm.
and that was that's a consequence that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. It's going to affect things. Like say even dating, right? I have a harder time going on long walks with people because my joints start acting up. There's just certain things. It changed my metabolism, so my eating habits are different. It's getting hit in the head a bunch changes the way you think, and sometimes I'm really not a lot of fun to be around, which can affect relationship stuff. You got to think about the long term when you get involved in something that could be potentially damaging to you or your reputation down the road.
Right. Right. Um, second caveat to that was that girl that was crying, the one that slept with 101 guys in 14 hours. Well, some other porn stars have come forward. I remember one of them, Jasmine St. Clair, she did like 300 guys in like 12 hours, something like that. And she pretty much told the girl, hey, suck it up and deal with it. Like, you decided to do this. Nobody wants to hear you crying and talking about what's fair and what's not. And then at the end of it, I'm reading that after she's done all this crying and stuff, next month she plans on doing it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I mean, I guess you could look at this in sort of the old fashioned circus freak sense, right? Right. Like a lot of your circus freaks or your carnival freaks and whatnot, were born with like whatever, oddity, and they decided to turn around and turn that into a marketable living. And a lot of them did very well for themselves, and that's great. And you could argue that that's what she's doing here. But I would also point out the fact that most of those circus freaks weren't fucking in front of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back to the art. Look at what she says. It makes me quote, it makes me feel rubbish. People are just seeing me as a sex object. And then Charlotte says it was deflating and that she is currently off the apps, but she's looking to date. She says she wished someone would hit on her at the gym as it's the only place she'll meet men. No man's gonna do that. And you could thank all those women who have gone to gyms, have turned on videos and lied on men so that they could get hits on Instagram and TikTok. So men are not falling for that one. She added she didn't realize what a common theme it was for two men, particularly friends, to engage in sexual acts with a woman at the same time. Well, it's not that common.
No.
It's like you said, she invited that with what she leaned in with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she went up to certain guys. And she mentioned her condition. She leaned in with that to try to attract them. What did you think they were going to do? When Charlotte was younger, she said she wasn't as open about having two vaginas and told people individually. She said many people have reached out to thank her. Her honesty, they said, has given them a reference point to bring up their own concerns to friends about their genitalia. It's something
Mm-hmm.
she wouldn't change for the world. But you're on here complaining about how you've been treated.
I mean, I kind of get that too. Like I was saying just a minute ago, man, I've got complaints about the creakiness of my body since I did things that damaged it. Uh, but I also said that I wouldn't take it back. Well, I think the experiences were worthwhile and taught me a lot of stuff, and I learned a lot of stuff, and I had a lot of fun, and I probably wouldn't take it back if I could do it all over again. But that doesn't necessarily. So I kind of get her complaining about it while at the same time being like, "Oh yeah, it's." I guess where she loses me is like I don't go around saying that I crippled myself as my whole identity. You know,
Mhm.
it's like, and I mean, crippled probably is a strong word. I mean, all my shit still works. It just doesn't work at the capacity it should. But she leads with, I have two vaginas. She shows those two vaginas to the public at large, from what I'm gathering from the pictures. I could be wrong about what how hardcore the content is. I don't know, but either way, I'm sure it comes up, right?
Mhm.
She puts that out there, and then she puts these photos out there of her in like in like lingerie and stuff, and then she has the gall to say, "Gosh, I can't believe I'm attracting dirtbags." You know,
Yeah.
it's like nobody's got any goddamn accountability for their actions. You know, nobody these days.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, man. Think before you leap, folks. You know, if it's worth it to you, go for it. But make damn sure that it's, something you can live with down the road, because you have no idea how that's going to turn out in the end. None of us do.
No, you don't.
Hi, Squatch. Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
But in a constructive way, Suka, not in the way that you like. Not in the way that you want us to.
Yeah, or be carried. I mean, that's fine too, I guess.
All right, folks. So just as I promised, it is. So I found this, right? Murder
Okay.
mystery quiz. I mean,
Alright.
I've been looking for a while, and I just came across this. It says it's 10 questions. It's had over 26,854 attempts. I'm gonna check it out. It says create a quiz, so I don't know what else is done. But I've been in contact with Mr. Suka, who is working on the app for us. So we'll see what comes up. Suka, I
Lepo's
still have
got a
to.
question here.
Okay.
You said you said there were a bunch of attempts. How many succeeded?
Attempts for what?
Of the quiz here.
Oh, snap! It doesn't say. It just says 26,000 people have attempted to complete this quiz.
Yeah. Capitano says, "Good God, Annie Charlotte is from the UK too. What is up with young women in the UK and OF? You'd have to take that up with Belle Delphine. I believe she is the one who made that popular for young ladies over there."
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of shit shows of a person.
yeah. Well, the good thing about this quiz is that it is not. I don't think it's not timed, so we can communicate with the chat and answer questions.
Good deal. Good deal. Oh shit,
All this.
Amira. I hope you're not suffering too much. That sucks.
Oh,
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah. I'm sorry about that too.
Yeah. As someone who's fallen down the stairs a number of times myself, that shit hurts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have fallen down the stairs. Me and the stairs have a long history, man. In fact, did I ever tell you the theater story?
I think you might have told me. I don't think you ever said anything to chat about it.
Yeah, when Jurassic Park 2 came out, like I went with a friend of mine to. This was when I was living in LA, and Hollywood had a real nice theater on Hollywood Boulevard. They got a couple. But yeah, you hit a lot. But there was like 5 flights of stairs to get up to where the theater was. Or you had to take this long escalator. Like it wasn't like just short little stairs. Like this sucker was high, right? And it was raining that day, and I was wearing I was wearing a beige outfit. I was wearing beige pants, and this was back in the '90s. So we had the style where you wear a dress shirt, you wouldn't button up, and you wear a shirt underneath. So
Mhm.
I'm wearing beige pants, and I'm wearing a black shirt and a beige dress shirt over it. Right. I walk
Yeah.
out, and my buddy Tony, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take the escalator." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna take the stairs, whatever." Um, so I took one step, I slipped at the very top of the stairs, slipped, landed on my butt, bounced off, and bounced all 5 flights in the rain. Lost the umbrella. The wind took the umbrella right out of my hands immediately. And there was a group of maybe about 5 or 6 girls down at the bottom talking. I mean, dressed nice, beautiful. And I went all the way down those stairs, right in front of them, all the way to the ground, right in front of them, and landed right in front of them. You
Yeah.
could hear them. They were down the street, and you could still hear them laughing at me. So yeah, I have fallen downstairs. I've fallen down the stairs with my son in my hand when he was like, I think Dominic was like 6 months old, and I slipped on something at the top of the stairs and went head first down, and I just managed to twist so that I landed back first and slid and bounced and slid all the way down the stairs, and he was holding on to me for dear life.
Yeah.
But
I uh I was thrown down the stairs once in high school.
yeah,
Yeah, I pissed
I'm
off a
not
couple
laughing
of
at you. I'm not
yeah.
laughing at you. You're just like, yeah, I was thrown down the stairs.
I pissed off a bunch of the jocks in my school. I was a goth at that age, and so I was wearing a lot of like spikes and chains and like platform boots and shit like that, and
Mhm.
which are hard enough to walk in as a dude. And yeah, a couple of them came up behind me and threw me off of the top flight of stairs. And I don't know how I did it. I think I just got really lucky, but I
Mhm.
managed to land on my feet, and I just played it off like I did that shit on purpose, but I totally did not do that shit on purpose.
Well, when you're younger, see, Zilla was just saying you didn't when you didn't get injured. When you're young, man, you'd be surprised what you could get up and bounce up from. Now, 20
Yeah.
years later, your body will remember that. Hey, remember when you were 19 and you went you went down 5 flights of stairs at Rainstorm? Yeah, we're letting you. I'm letting you know now it hurt. Now, last year when I fell down the stairs of my house, you remember that? Like I think,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we were live, and I had to go put my son to sleep, and came back out. I was at the top of the stairs, and I slipped same way that I did down those 5 flights of stairs, same way. Fell on my butt, bounced all the way down the stairs, and
Mhm.
now Zillis. Now I will say I couldn't feel my left leg for 2 days. I mean,
Yeah.
I finished the show, but I crawled back to my chair, and I had to pull myself up on the table. I couldn't move my left leg for 2 days.
Yeah.
So
LePole says broke my ankle on wet grass trying to wrestle with my friends, young and stupid. Ha. You know what? I've got a few old injuries from similar shit.
yep, me
My
too.
right hip. I've told Larry about this, and I think I might have mentioned this on stream before. But uh, so I threw a roundhouse kick at one of my brothers. We were sparring in the park, as it were. And this was sort of a precursor to the whole cage fighting thing. A couple years later, and I threw a roundhouse kick at him, and his son of a bitch caught it, and he yanked as hard as he could, and he pulled the whole fucking leg out of the hip socket, right?
Ouch.
And which hurt. That hurt a lot. But myself being young and dumb, and I treat my own injuries. I've set my own bones, and I'm not advocating anybody do that because it's really fucking stupid. It's part of why certain things are messed up. But putting it back in hurts so much worse. And ever since then, it's been a little bit loose. So, yeah, I mean, it's been 30 plus years since that happened, so I'm kind of used to it by now. It's not really any pain anymore, but it gets uncomfortable sometimes. because it's a little bit loose, and sometimes the ball joint will pop right out of the socket when I'm standing up or something, and I got to put it back in again. So yeah. Anyway, think on that, folks, when you need some nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a nightmare.
I remember that day though, and that pain, that fucking hurt.
The worst is when you slip on ice. I learned. I slipped. I remember I was 15. I slipped and smacked the back of my head. And it was a snowstorm going on, and I had to run across the street because I got caught in a blizzard. Slipped, bow. I was seeing stars. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to. I'm lucky to be alive and to be able to remember who I was.
Yep. I did that a couple years ago myself on some black ice. Just my feet went out from under me. Next thing I know, I'm horizontal in midair and falling fast. And I my back hit. Well, my elbow hit first, then my hand, then my back, and then I bounced my head a little bit. Hilariously, I didn't drop my cigarette. I managed to hold on to that. But everything else, I laid there for probably 30 minutes before I had enough wherewithal to pick myself up again. Oh, good deal.
Don't know what that's
What's
about.
around
But
here?
okay.
What's around
I'm
here
not
dangerous?
even gonna try to figure out what that's about.
Yeah. Drunk with power. Yeah. So BTK, imagine that that wasn't super fun. So but anyhow, we've got this this thing up here.
Yep. All right. Let's get this started. And of course, chat participation is always appreciated. As soon as this thing decides to load up. Good grief. Alrighty, let's see. A senior police officer asks his junior officers to visit a murder location and note everything they see there. Officers return with the information: body lying, television on, a cup of tea on the table, newspaper open with page numbers 7 and 8. Are officers lying? How the hell are we supposed to know based off of that?
Yeah, I don't think there's enough information. Body's lying, television's on, tea on. Sounds like somebody was sitting down to, catch up on the news, right? With the television on in the background and have a cup of tea, but that could have been a heart attack.
Body lying, television on, a cup of tea on the table. Yeah, newspaper open. I mean, that's it's superficial.
Sorry, Sam and Larry, the chat's dealing with me over here. Okay. There's no page 7 and 8. It would be 7, 8, and 2 more. I'm not sure what I'm following what you're saying, Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie. I mean, they're not saying it would what you're saying would make sense if they were saying that there was only a total of 8 pages in a newspaper.
No. Is this a riddle? Kind of feels like one, doesn't it?
That's what it's got to be a riddle because on his face is too superficial.
Yeah, I think not clear is probably the way to go on this, because this could be any number of things. This could be natural causes. Somebody just kicked it in the middle of doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they're just noting everything that they're seeing there. Yeah. Oh, Beak is right. 7 on one side, 8 on the other. I mean, it's possible, but it could be.
Well, that actually is an interesting point too, because 7 would be on the right-hand side, not the
Right.
left-hand side. So 8 would be on the other side of 7 because the first page is obviously page 1.
Right. So they're lying.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a great point, Beak. Yeah. Let's go with lying.
All right. They're lying.
Woo!
Good
Beak
job.
gets credit for that, I think. Yeah. And Carrie.
Yeah. Newspaper, yeah. In a newspaper, when two facing pages are open, an even number page is typically on the left, and an odd number page is on the right. The officers reported that the newspaper was open with pages numbers 7 and 8.
Devil.
However, if they had genuinely visited the murder spot and observed the newspaper, it would have been more likely to find page 8 on the left and 7 on the right. Inconsistency. So they lied about what they were doing. They played hooky. They didn't go there. Oh yeah, it was open on page 7 and 8. Well, we know who put him up to the lie. He's on right now, fresh off of Ball Busters. How was Batman?
Yeah, a lot talking about Batman over there. Nah.
Well, you're just
tired.
in time, but you did miss the article on the girl who was complaining about men objectifying her because she was born with 2 vaginas.
What way? What?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, to put that in context, she does saucy pictures for a living, or videos or something along those lines, and she's complaining
80%
that
of women
men,
now.
yeah, she's complaining that men objectify her because she has decided to tell the whole world that she has 2 vaginas.
And she's shocked that guys that she has dated would show up with friends of theirs, hoping to get hoping to have threesomes with her.
Okay. With I wouldn't like. That's not something that I'd be into. Like I don't know. That kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, like if I was dating a girl and like we're about to do it and she's, oh, I have 2 vaginas, I wouldn't be like, okay, get out of here, right? I wouldn't kick her out, but it doesn't seem very appealing. Kind of weird.
I mean, it's not something that I don't think it's something that she should have leaned in with meeting guys, but that's what she used as the fish hook to reel guys in. And then the photos that she's posting, I mean, she might as well be naked. And it's like, but you want respect on dating apps of all places.
Is she good looking at least?
Yeah.
She's all right. Yeah.
Like I said, it's just there's certain things I could see being attracted. Like girls all like, I have a third tit. I'd be like, okay, I want to see it. But girls all like, I got 2 vaginas. I'd be like, where's the other one at? I'd be kind of confused. And
and according to the article, they said theoretically, because of the way the condition is, she could actually get pregnant in either one. And I was like, well, what if she has twins and each twin decides to go out a separate, they decide not to go out through the same one?
So are they right next to each other?
I don't know.
Is it like Twix? There's a left and a right one?
Yeah.
We didn't look at pictures of it, so we don't know, man.
I mean, I hope for her sake it's up and down, because I mean, left and right, that'd be kind of,
I need to get a doctorate just so I can fucking say, okay, I need to see this. Gotta show it.
Yeah. Well, it's, I guess the thing that I was concerned with is like, you don't get to complain about attracting sleaze bags when you present yourself as the chick with 2 vaginas.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If that's what you're selling yourself as, you can't then bitch about it. It's just like any OnlyFans girl bitching about being objectified. I'm sorry, if you decided to do that to make money, then you can't bitch about the outcome of that you are objectified. and this happens across the board with most people. They want to have the fun and they want to do this stuff, but then they don't want the responsibility of it. We've all established that Samuel is a whore, right? Or sorry, he's not. He's a sleut.
I'm a sleut.
He's a sleut. He accepts that. He doesn't sit there and try to act like he, has clean sheets here. I hate that you have all these people that will like sell their asshole on fucking OnlyFans, but then they want to sit there and get all bitchy if you fucking go like, you're kind of a whore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sick of it. Just accept what you are. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't hold stuff against people. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to, great for you. Get your money, do what, if you have the body for it, sell it. But I just hate when people are freaking seen there trying to act like they got some, like, they're virtuous or something when they're, no, accept what you are.
When you bring up the sleutness of myself, it's like, yeah, to a degree, I would agree with that. But at the same time, like, I don't walk into a room full of crowded people and be like, yo, I've been with some chicks, right? I don't lead with that shit.
I wish I could. If I was with him, I would. Right,
but it's not like the thing. Like, she walks into a room, she says, "Hey, I've got 2 pussies," right? You don't lead with that. Maybe keep your clothes on for a second and break the ice in some other non-body part related way.
Yeah. If exactly. If I had 4 dicks, I wouldn't be going in the room. I have 4 dicks. Hey.
Well, that's the other thing, Zillage, is I don't, it's not a badge of honor for me. I know it probably would be for some of the guys I went to high school with and some others, there are dudes out there who go around saying, oh yeah, I bagged so-and-so. It's like, I don't talk about it like it's a good thing. No, it's completely fucking unhealthy, and it wasn't smart. And, there are regrets. Marriage was one of them, by the way. But yeah, no, it's like
always the coyote ugly ones.
Yeah, I mean, no, not always. But sometime, Devil, I'll tell you about my biggest mistake.
So she was big. That was the mistake.
Very, very big. So, but anyway, but it's like, I'll joke about it, right? And I'll have conversations about it, but I don't believe that I have ever presented it in a way where I'm, sounding like I'm proud of the fact, because I'm not. Honestly, I'm not particularly ashamed of it either. I don't put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
So, and I also haven't been with nearly as many as Larry has led you on to believe, by the way, chat.
Man, nobody believes that. Don't even try to go there, man.
Larry's got one of those little Chinese freaking bead, like, what do they call it? Yeah, abacus, counting up them, and Sam's always like, dude, it's not that many.
Well, that's just because he's in Wyoming. He slept with every girl in the city, so that is like 200 miles between towns. So he's probably got to take a flight to get to the next town over. Exactly.
He is like the Genghis Khan of that state, right? Like,
yep.
If I was, I'd have so much child support.
That's why you stay off the grid, though.
That's why you can't get good internet, because he's paying for like 400 children in that state.
Sam has populated half the children in that state.
Doubled its
he probably got so many
population.
You probably got so many kids over there that you ain't paying for, that the Cheneys couldn't even help you support them.
Shit, if I've been with as many people as you say I have, some of the Cheneys probably are my kids.
They might be.
That's why
especially Liz.
But a few of the local cops. That is not fucking true.
Well, yes, it is.
I asked one out one time, and she turned me down. That's as far as I ever went with any of the cops out here.
That's why Sam walks back and forth between work, because if he gets in a car, he gets pulled over and ticketed because he shamed all these cops. He He didn't call him.
Jesus Christ.
He can't drive
Call
a
him
car
back.
without getting ticketed.
I mean, shoot, Suka's already outed him with the, with that, with the whole thing about his exes, all those police reports of all these women that are getting arrested and all those mug shots. Suka's like the best detective on the internet.
This is why I don't give chat like personal details about me that are
That'd be
identifying in any way.
That'd be screwing both sides of the law.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Suka, where's the video of Sam and his dirtiness?
Oh, you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed
OnlyFans,
the
you gotta pay
Naughty Corner
$5.
video. I enjoyed the Naughty Corner music video. I really thought that was funny, but I need one for Sam. I don't know, some slutty one. Or,
Oh, you'll have to talk to Suka or Aaron Laura about that.
Yeah, Aaron made one of me a couple of months back that made me look like a serial killer.
Yeah, it was good too.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. She emailed me. She's like, "Is this too much? I can take it down." I was like, "No, keep it up. It's hilarious."
Aaron, don't give him a choice. Trust me. Don't give it. Think about Shadow every time you think about giving Sam mercy. All right. Second question in this quiz. So, Devil, this is a murder mystery type of quiz thing. I guess it's like 10 questions that we stumbled upon of. So let's see. Police visit a murder spot. There they see a dead body with a bullet shot on the head. A bullet shot on the head, and the gun is near the victim's right hand on the floor. There is a tape recorder which police play. It has 10-second audio with crying and then a sound of a gunshot. Is it a murder or a suicide?
Well, the gun's near the right hand of the victim, but
is he right-handed?
it doesn't tell you which side of the head the bullet the bullet hole is.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's on the head, not in.
I would say probably murder. Because if you're gonna commit suicide and you have a message, usually you want to say goodbye, you want to do something just like a suicide note, right? If you have that 10 seconds, why would it just be crying in the gun shop? Why wouldn't it be like, I'm sorry, or, don't hate me to your family, or whatever it is? Why wouldn't you take the opportunity to say something, even if you're blubbering and crying and you got the boogers coming out your nose and shit, then just cry and shoot? Why put that out there?
Well, Beak's got an interesting point too. It says murder. Who rewound the tape?
That's what I was thinking. I mean, they could have erased it.
Yeah. Unless they were leaving it to be found, right? Because there's like it just says there's a one shot in the head, right? But it doesn't say if there were any other bullet holes in the room. So it's possible that this person recorded this, fired the gun once, rewound the tape, and then shot themselves. But I think that's probably too many steps for this scenario. So I don't know. I think Beak might be right. Yeah. Suicide people rarely make sense. Nice catch, Beak. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. And now she's threatening Carrie. So what are we going with?
Zilla says, I would say murder because wouldn't the gun still be in his hand rather than off? I suppose that depends on how they fall.
Yeah.
Because I have unfortunately seen more than a few suicides and self deletions rather in my life, and sometimes the bodies fall in very interesting ways. So it's possible. It's possible that the gun would still be in the hand, but it's not necessarily a given.
I mean, on murder. What are we? What are we doing?
Murder.
Yeah.
I'd say murder.
All right, let's see.
I think Beak's a better detective than he's ever let on before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Murder.
Good call. Yeah.
Beak might
Me
be
and Suka having fun, and Carrie comes. I'm gonna stop right there.
control your mods. Suki, you forget who you're talking about, as if we can control her. Control who?
You know, you guys all know I give my mods a pretty broad leash, pretty wide leash there. Long leash. That's what I'm looking at. So,
Yeah, let's see. Audio tape. The tape recorder contains a 10-second audio recording with crying followed by a gunshot. Suicide scenario. If the victim had committed suicide, they wouldn't have been able to stop the recording after the gunshot. In a genuine suicide, the recording would likely continue beyond the moment of the gunshot, of course. Manipulation of staging. The fact that the recording stops after the gunshot suggests a deliberate attempt to stage the scene and mislead investigators into believing it was a suicide. Conclusion. Taking these matters into consideration, it is more plausible that someone else was involved, deliberately manipulating the scene to make it appear as if the victim had taken their own life. So,
Beaks on my team.
Beast like he's picking up what Kohai dropped. What is she talking?
oh, did you
The hell is this about?
did you time out Suka, Carrie? Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's what she's blowing up about. The mods are out of control except for Carrie, and then he.
Oh no, Amir timed him out.
That's hilarious.
No,
But
they both did. They both did.
Yeah, because you can time somebody out, and then another mod can come along and time them out too. Golly. Shoot. Next question. Suka got timed out. Who did it first and why? Okay. All right. Here's the third one. For a murder case investigation, police visit a bar. There, the waiter tells the police that the victim was here with his friend. They both drank. Within 10 minutes, the victim managed to drink only one glass of wine. On the other hand, his friend had 5 drinks. Dang. It was later revealed that all of those drinks were poisoned. How come did the victim's friend not die, who had 5 drinks within 10 minutes? What do you think was poisoned? Who wrote this?
The English is a second language. Somebody, yeah.
Well, I get what they said. What do you think was poisoned? The ice cubes, the water, wine on the rim. I mean,
So the victim, though, the dead guy, drank only one glass of wine. Right? Was the other guy having wine as well? Well, it did say that all of those drinks were poisoned, though. So
He doesn't say what he drunk. Maybe it.
Well, it says that they were.
Because some poisons, maybe. I don't know. I was going to say maybe the poison was diluted because he was drinking so much, so diluted it in his system or watered it down. I don't know. And it was more concentrated because he was only drinking wine, the one wine.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, be saying, I guess in the rim, but like,
Well, see,
if it was the rim, then
it says all the drinks were poisoned. So
yeah. If it was the rim, only the glass of wine would have been poisoned. Right?
Yeah. Not to mention
all of them were.
Not to mention, if it was the rim, him drinking 5, he'd be touching that rim more and more and more. He'd get more of the poison. He'd be dead before the other guy.
I'm thinking the ice cubes.
But even then, same thing. Well, you need to find something that you get more of from 1 than 5 is essentially what we're trying to figure out here. How could 1 drink give you more poison enough to kill someone when 5 wouldn't?
Yeah. That's...
Good question.
Bartender was the killer. That's how.
I mean, I would
I
like to
mean,
know this, right? I
well,
mean,
first thing is, who drinks wine with ice cubes?
sick
Yeah.
people. Sick people.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody drink a glass of wine with an ice cube, ever.
I
You're
That never
drunk
happened,
in
but I've never.
Wino Ant. That's who drinks wine with ice cubes.
so this is possible too. Is like but again, I think this feels like extra steps for this question. But yeah, somebody the friend could have built up an immunity to the poison over time, and then like introduced say
In
a
5
poisoned
minutes?
wine bottle.
Oh,
No,
you're
I
saying
meant
he's the killer.
prior to
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe he killed his friend, and yeah, he built up the immunity so that it would look like he was being poisoned too, so he would put him out of suspicion. But I agree,
But
it
then that
seems
means
like
the
a
wine was
step's going
poisoned,
too far. But
right?
Yeah, the wine would be the poison in that case. It would be what was poisoned in that case. But if they're at a bar though, they didn't bring their own drinks.
That's what I'm thinking.
so
And the
somebody
bar
could be in
wouldn't
on it
let
with him.
them walk. The bar wouldn't let them walk into the alcohol unless it's like one of those places where it's like BYOB.
They only do that at restaurants. They don't do that at bars. At bars, you're there to buy their alcohol. That's how they make their money. They wouldn't let you bring it. The BYOB is usually restaurants that aren't allowed to serve liquor. They will allow you to bring your own bottle of wine so that you can still enjoy wine with your dinner that they can't provide. But a bar would never let you bring your own liquor in. That's
Yeah, no, because that affects their chances of retaining their liquor license.
yeah,
Bringing
very much so too.
outside liquor in. Aaron Laura says on the rim, I think he threw him back fast without touching his mouth to the glass, which
That's
Amira
is
says
true.
water.
yeah. I'm not like Zilla's saying, why is water an answer? I don't know why water would be an answer on here unless the guy who drank 5 drinks was drinking water.
But he's
But-
not the one that died.
You are supposed to, like, if you're drinking heavy, you are supposed to drink a water every like 2 or 3 drinks or something. But this one glass of water, I don't think would necessarily change anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, the water wouldn't dilute the poison.
Yeah, no, like I said, not enough. If you got 5 servings worth of poison, 1 bottle of water would not dilute it enough to not kill you.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know.
because he drunk 5 drinks, he threw up, and threw up the poison, maybe. And the other guy is sipping on it, sat in his system longer.
Well, here's the thing, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're assuming that the 5 drinks he had was wine. It may not have been. I mean, but then again, they're all poisons, so
they also like Jill just saying.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they didn't specify what his 5 drinks either. So like he might have had like a glass of wine, then a glass of water, then a glass of wine, then a glass of water.
So then I got to think it would either be on the rim or it had to be on the rim because I don't see the guy that died. I don't see him using ice cubes with wine. The other guy that lived was probably drinking. If this water was involved, he was drinking the water. So we don't know if the guy that had the 5 drinks, if that was wine. So it had to be on the rim.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on this one myself. Because I'm thinking about if it was on the rim, right, that it would still only be the victim's glass that showed that there was poison in it, right? It shouldn't show on the other guy, the guy who had 5 drinks, like he would be fine because there was no poison on his rim.
Well, Aaron's got a point though. It says all of the drinks were poison. That means the water too.
Yeah. That's well, it's funny because the scenario doesn't actually mention water. Water's only mentioned in the answers. So is ice cubes though.
It's either and the guy only
Wait, hold on.
Again, the guy only had 1 glass of wine and he died. Unless he had ice cubes in that wine.
hold on. Maybe it's the simplest thing. Maybe the guy who died, the poison was dropped in the wine right before his glass was poured, and the poison was still on top and got in his glass, while the other ones got a lot less poison because the five his friend drunk or whatever came after. See, most of the poison went out with the first glass, so that's why he got a bigger portion of it.
Carrie makes a point that actually might support what you're saying there. Is like the ice in the 5 drinks didn't melt because he had them in 10 minutes, right? He didn't have time for the ice
That
to
is
melt.
good.
Whereas the
one
other
guy's
guy only had the
different.
one drink and he took his time with it, and the
I
ice would
think
have had
Carrie
a chance
got
to
him.
melt.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Carrie got it there. I agree. That's good.
So it's the ice cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see if we're right. But you don't put ice in wine. Exactly. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
But you don't put ice in wine.
Right.
That's the true crime. That's a true crime right there. Somebody arrest that person who put the ice in there.
That's why I
Right.
keep going back to the rim. I'm like, I don't know. Or maybe the guy didn't die from poison. It was a weak poison. He died from something else.
In which case it wouldn't be murder though, right? And this is they're saying this is definitively a murder.
Well, no, it says he was poisoned doesn't mean that's what killed him. It's just saying that he was poisoned. You can you can be poisoning somebody and they die of a heart attack. You still poison them. They just didn't die of the poison. So
And you know what? The timing. Within 10 minutes, the victim managed to drink only 1 glass of wine. On the other hand, his friend knocked back 5 within 10 minutes. The time is the key.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking the ice cubes.
You have to be power drinking to get through that many drinks in just 10 minutes.
The guy knocked him back.
I've been there,
but I think Carrie's got it. If the guy knocked him back, the ice didn't have a chance to melt, so he was fine. The other guy, why he would have wine, I don't know. But I mean, why would he would have ice cubes in his wine? I don't know.
Maybe they were already drunk. Yeah.
So let's go with the ice cubes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Doobie-doop-doop-doo.
Yeah. Ice cubes.
Damn.
Let's see. Given this scenario, it's highly likely that the ice cubes were poisoned. The victim's friend drank 5 drinks within 10 minutes, but if the poison was in the ice cubes, it would not have had time to melt and mix with the drinks to the same extent as the victim's 1 glass of wine. The time it takes for ice to melt and dilute a drink can vary, and the slower consumption rate might have saved the friend from a lethal dose. Good job, Carrie.
Yeah.
Question difficulty easy.
That was
yeah.
What you're saying is we're not like monk level crime solvers here.
Why do you think we got 20 fucking people solving the mystery here?
Yeah, it takes us the 3 of us and all the chat.
Oh, and you know that this is giving me ideas for
how to kill Sam. Me too.
20 ways
what
the
fuck?
20 ways to kill Sam. All right. There was a murder in a hotel at night. The main gate was open. Other gates and windows were closed, and inside a dead body was lying. Is it true that the murderer entered the hotel through the main gate? True or false?
Oh. Huh. Other gates and windows were closed and inside. Now, does that, when they say gate, do they mean door?
No, I think they mean gate. The main gate was open. Other gates and windows were closed. I mean, no, they've got to mean doors.
Why
Yeah.
would what? Why would? Well, it would be true, I guess, but I
I-
don't know. It's kind of weird because if it's a hotel, the guy could already been in there. The killer could already been in there. Why did he have
Right.
to enter the hotel to kill him? Usually, you'd stay at the hotel so you had easy access to whoever you were going to kill. I don't know.
Also could have entered through another door and closed it behind him.
Well, you know what? And maybe maybe it's intentionally omitting the doors. Maybe it means exactly what it's saying. All the gates were closed, but it's not saying anything about doors.
Yeah. Could be, but we also know that Jake from India is writing these, so.
Well,
As,
right now I'm leaning on false, but we can go through these steps. Maybe the killer never left.
Right?
Yeah. And even if he did, I mean, the killer can always close everything.
See, that's what I'm thinking is false too, because like Amir makes a point here. There's not enough information to indicate that the killer left at all.
Right. Yeah, I think it's false.
Yeah. That's my thought.
What do you think, Devil?
I don't want to get one wrong. That's the problem. So I'm like really trying to see where's the, kind of twist. Like I don't know. It's such a weird way that they wrote it out. That's the thing that's tripping me up. Cause yeah, it's all like enter through the main gate. Well, yeah, he sure as hell didn't enter through the windows. That's not how you really go into a hotel. I don't know. It's just weird.
Suka's saying you're in the details, Devil.
It's very true. That's very true.
You're playing like you don't know.
Shit. I'll go with false. I'll go with you guys on this.
All right. Let's see. Wow.
That was true.
Oh, I trusted the wrong people, guys.
Main gate of the hotel was found to be open. The killer likely entered the hotel through the main gate, which was open. The fact that the other gates and windows were closed suggests that the main gate was a point of entry. This leads to the conclusion that the statement true is appropriate. No, I disagree with that because the killer closed as they were leaving.
It's also, it keeps saying it's a fucking hotel, man. Like, how many people are staying in this hotel? It doesn't give us any indication that there aren't other people on the property. So if a body was discovered, like if maybe everybody was in their rooms or whatever, so they wouldn't have seen the body necessarily, but somebody who came in would see that. But that somebody who came in would have come in through the main gate, right?
God damn it, you're right. Let's all go to India and kick Jake's ass.
A body is lying on the road. It looks clear that the man died after being hit by the car. Is it an intended murder or an accident?
I think it's not clear.
Lying in the road.
See, now I'm starting to understand how you guys feel when you're doing my quizzes. Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing to go on.
Yeah, it looks clear that the man died after being hit by the car. First of all, the car's still there.
Lying in the road.
Good question.
He didn't get hit out of the road? Like,
did he get hit and then get placed on the road?
Like, or find his way to the road and then die? Yeah. I don't think there's enough information.
It's not. I don't think it's that clear.
Yeah, because shit, I don't know. Because I would say that because the person ran and didn't stick around, it would point more towards intentional. Because if it was an accident, but people do stupid shit like that all the time. It'll be an accident, but they'll panic and leave. So
right, like a hit and run.
Yeah. So I
I'll
don't
be right
know. I would say not clear.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning because like the way it's worded is fucking stupid too. Like a body is lying in the road. It looks clear that the man died after being hit by the car. Period.
Yeah.
Right, which indicates that the car is still present.
Yeah. Not to mention, it also if you find somebody lying in the road and you can say were hit by a car, that doesn't give you anything. The way they find out if it was intentional or not is by what did the person break? Was there,
Right.
drag marks from braking? Did they speed up? So there's no, they use other stuff at the scene to tell you if it was intentional or not just somebody being hit by a car, because that's kind of innocuous. You could
And-
intentionally and non-intentionally hit a person with a car. It's the same impact. It's the same look.
Right. And you could, and some people, you hit them, they hit somebody and then they panic and take off.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
they meant to hit them.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I think that the answer is not clear. But
too.
if my fallback would be accident, because it says the way that it words it, it sounds like the car is still present, which indicates that the driver of the car might also still be present, which means that maybe that person called the authorities or whatever after they hit this person, right? Which would indicate accident. But I think it's just worded stupid, and so I'm going to go with not clear.
All right. I agree with everybody else. Not clear. Let's see. Not
Woohoo.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, pretty much everything we just said. All right. Next one. Around 3 p.m., a man died in his own house. The next day, police asked each servant and victim's wife what they were doing when this happened. These were their statements. Gardener: I was watering the plants. Cook: I was making breakfast. Wife: I was watching a movie on my laptop. Who do you think is lying?
Why would he be cooking breakfast at 3 p.m.?
Exactly.
That'd be the cook then.
Yeah.
But that's also too obvious.
Yeah, sometimes the butler did do it though, dude.
Yeah.
You
All right.
know? I think it looks like the chat's going with the cook as well.
All right. Let's see. Yep. The cook.
Yep. Good catch, Devil.
Well, Devil's a chef, so I don't even know. What are you doing cooking? You know what I mean? I mean, if he worked if it was at a restaurant, okay, that'd be different. Some people do order, pancakes at 3:00. That includes me. Anyway, let's see. Question 7. Inside a room, a man was murdered. Police visited the murder spot, and there they saw a man's dead body lying on the floor. The glass of the window was broken, and the pieces of the glass were there outside the room in the garden. Is it true that the murderer had entered the room by breaking the glass of the window?
No, false. Because if he broke the window to get in, the glass would be on the inside. Why is it in the garden? Because it was broke out. Somebody inside the house broke it after they killed him to make it look like it
Killed
was
him
a
and
break.
broke out.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
it was a kind of a false thing. If they wanted to make it look like somebody broke in, but they didn't think about where the glass was landing. So they broke the window thinking the cops would just be like, oh, the window's broken, somebody broke in. But the glass on the outside shows it was broken from the inside. So
Yeah.
it was
Yelling at
false
Super
evidence.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't trust what Sam's all, it's her. Damn wives.
I'm not
Yeah.
that black pilled about women.
I'm inclined to agree with Devil. I think it's false. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I think it's false too, because like he's absolutely right. If they entered if they broke in through from the outside, the glass would be on the inside.
Right. I'm guessing the chat agrees. I don't see any difference.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, Zillage says outside. Amir says yep.
All righty.
Broke
Yep.
from inside. So, yep.
Can't get one over on the devil.
All right, let's see. Next one. A man's dead body was found hanging inside a room. His feet were 4 feet above the floor. There was nothing in the room he could have used to climb up and hang himself. There was only a large puddle of water found in the room. Still, the police considered the reason for his death to be a suicide rather than a murder. Was the police right?
Okay, man was found hanging far above the ground. Well, did he drop down? It's saying that he was found hanging 4 foot above the ground, but you could stand on top of a chair and kick it out from underneath you to hang yourself. You also could jump off a banister.
What chair is 4 feet high?
Yeah, that's another one.
Unless
I
it's a
mean,
bar
ladder.
stool or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bar stool. That's a high bar stool.
Yeah. So I don't know. The only thing I could think of was that he was standing on a large block of ice.
Like I said, it doesn't say what the rope is attached to. It could have been a 2-story house, and he was on his second story and jumped off the banister, hung himself that way. Your assumption is that he was standing on something, kicked it out from underneath him to hang himself. That's not the only way you can hang yourself. You can tie, like I said, a rope around a banister, jump off of it. You know.
Well, that's true if it's in kind of like a mezzanine sort of area or whatever, but it also says that there was nothing in the room that he was found in that he could have used to climb up and hang himself, which I would assume included like a second story banister railing.
No, because he didn't climb up the banister. He jumped off of it. It's a second story. He went up the stairs, then jumped off. It's establishing that there's nothing he. Yeah, he had stuff on the Clinton. That's how we're all gonna go.
Yeah, the puddle of water is what throws me though.
When you pee, if you freaking.
It said water. It didn't say urine.
I mean, it could have been
time to
yellow
compete.
snow. It could have been yellow ice.
Maybe why would he have a noose around his neck and then slip? It's all like, here, I'm just gonna put this noose around my neck, but I'm totally not gonna kill myself. Oops, I slipped.
Well, yeah, and it would take a really long fucking time for that shit to melt. Like eventually, people who are faced with like that sort of length of time when it comes to self-deletion, like they have plenty of time to reconsider, right?
Yeah.
Or get bored, like Beak said, or whatever, and so they probably wouldn't have ended up. Plus, that'd be a huge block of ice, right?
Yeah, massive. 4 foot. I mean, and you'd have to be wide enough to stand on, so it would have to be at least a foot, foot and a half across. That is a massive piece of ice to drag
the other
in there.
thing too is that the police, I mean, even with a massive puddle of water, the police would have had to they would have to know that he was dead, And I would think if he's committing suicide, unless he called the police and gave them a heads up, it's going to be days before he's found. And even then, that puddle of water wouldn't be there. It would have seeped into the floor by then.
Okay, hold on. What if instead of a banister, him hanging himself, what if he tied it off to a pipe and jumped off, and the water's from the pipe bending or whatever from the weight of him?
Sure, I'm with you on that. Except, how did he get up to the pipe in the first place?
Yep,
Well,
that's
he
the question.
did use a ladder. It didn't say he couldn't use a ladder to tie a freaking knot around a pipe.
Well, it says
And he jumped off the second story.
It says there's nothing he could have used to climb up and hang himself.
Yeah, hang himself. But that's what I'm saying is he went up there, tied the thing to the pipe, then got on the second story, dove off, and hung himself.
But he was found hanging inside
a room. It just says a room.
Yeah.
That could be a big mezzanine area. It could be anything.
Right.
Any room in a house. It doesn't say a specific. It doesn't say a bedroom. It doesn't say a bathroom. It says a room. That's anywhere in your house can be considered a room.
Well, see, here's the thing too. See, now I'm starting to think different. There was a huge puddle of water found in the room. It could be a murder. I mean, the water could have been placed there to make them think that he stood on a block of ice and committed suicide. But what if it was top? What if he was thrown off?
Well, even a block of ice you would need something to climb on top of. If you have a 4 foot tall block of ice, you can't what are you thinking? He jumped up there. He would have to have something to step up onto a 4-foot block of ice. Which
Right,
means
no,
why would
what
he
I'm
have
saying
ice
is,
when you could just use the thing you stepped up on the ice with?
no, what I'm saying is, what if the room had a second floor and somebody tied the rope around his neck and threw him off, and then went downstairs and poured water up underneath him so that the cops would think that he stood on a block of ice?
I don't know. I think we're like looking way too deep into it. It's all like,
Yeah.
what if he's a transgender, so he's not actually a man, he's a woman. His water broke because he's pregnant, and like it's like what?
I think Aaron Laura's got it. It was the noose moose.
Amir makes a good point. I mean, it's Devil's point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't get, just given what we have here, I can't say. I can't say. So this seems suspicious to me, but there doesn't seem to be enough stated evidence to indicate one way or the other.
I'd be fine with going with that, but I just think, like I said, I think he probably threw himself off a second story and hung himself. But I can go with can't say, because you're right. There is the water's the question that really kind of.
Okay, Amir is taking the credit.
Look
at this. Look at
this. Oh yeah. Yes, sure. You're sucking up now because she
It's not going to help you. Take it from somebody who knows.
She timed you out earlier. Yeah, I think can't say, because I don't know. I don't know that there's enough information here to make that call one way or the other.
Oh, Jacob. For me, I can't say.
Yeah,
I can't say.
Brad from Mumbai is really happy.
No.
Yeah. Well done, Brad from Mumbai.
For me, the answer is either no or I can't say. I don't believe it was a suicide, but I can't say one way or the other.
Like I said, I'm a yes, but I'll go with can't say.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Did it go there? Oh, there
it is. They're saying it was a suicide. If there was a block of ice that melted into a large pool of water, we did overthink it. It would indeed explain how the man was able to hang himself without anything in the room to climb up on. In such a scenario, the ice block could have initially provided the necessary height, and as it melted, the man's feet ended up 4 feet above the floor.
I'm gonna find him in India, and I'm gonna beat his ass, because that is just the stupidest way. Who commits suicide that way? Who's all like, I'm gonna kill myself. I have to go find a ridiculously large block of ice so I can kill. No, you freaking just go out.
Maybe in India it's something that they do. I don't know.
Is it like? Do they? You don't have to be this. Look, human beings are fragile. We don't need to work that hard to help ourselves.
No, when you get in the car to go drive and get the block of ice, just drive off the damn road off into some water or some shit. What the hell, man?
Yeah. I can't believe you all talked about the ice block for 3 hours and chose something else. Yeah. You're right. Why did we change it? Dang it! I knew it.
And there, it's funny. It's because we had the answer and then we overthought it.
Yeah, it's like having drain cleaner under your sink, and you go to all the freaking work to grind up castor beans and shit so you could poison yourself to death. It's all like, dumbass, it's right there, dude. You don't have to go to all the trouble.
Look, right on top, right on.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Oh boy.
So we should have 2 more questions on this.
You woman logic, we did. All right.
That's fair.
Question number 9. A lady was murdered on the road. Police suspected the lady's husband, brother, and father would be the murderer. They sent a message to all three, something like this: Your wife slash sister slash daughter is murdered. Please come to the crime spot. Only the husband reached there. Who is the murderer?
Okay, a lady's murdered on the road. Well, that doesn't
Wait,
mean
wait.
nothing because now you can track your spouse's phone and shit. They would know exactly where it was. It was far more likely that the killer wouldn't go because he'd be like, "Yeah, I don't want to say I know where she's dead."
Again, this is worded weird. Police suspected the lady's husband, brother, and father to be the murderer. Or like, are we to infer that those are three different people, or the same person?
It's her father, brother, and her husband. That's a feat right there.
Like, I'm my own grandpa kind of thing. You know, the note, they sent a message to all three, something like this: Your wife slash sister slash daughter is murdered. Please come to the crime spot. Only the husband reached her, who is the murderer. Please sound like feminists.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's the husband, because I mean, he could show up there to see what. First of all, hoping that it makes him showing up there makes him look innocent, and he gets to see, talk to the police and find out what they know, if what they're telling him is even the truth. But he can get a look at their mannerisms and stuff and try to gauge where they're at.
Oh yeah, killers always they actually want to communicate with the cops because they think they're going to be able to suss out if they're onto them and stuff. They think they're more clever usually. But like I said, this proves nothing because literally if like you have your wife and she says, "I'm going to go to Dairy Queen," and then the cops call you and say your wife is dead, you're going to automatically head towards Dairy Queen because you're going to assume that she died somewhere along the way or at Dairy Queen, right? You knew where she was heading. So you take the same route you guys have always driven to get to Dairy Queen. And if she's on the road, you're going to run into the scene. So this proves nothing. Like literally.
I think
Suka's got it. I think Suka's got it here.
The husband did it because the husband would know where the crime spot is. The other two wouldn't know. So, like you said, Devil, they will go to wherever they thought she was at. So whoever shows up at the crime spot did it.
No, but like I said,
their note didn't give any details as to where it would have been. They just said, "Come to the crime scene."
But that's what I'm saying is literally if you knew your wife was going to church, right, Larry? Your wife says, "I'm heading to church, honey." And then you got a call from supposed cops or a message saying your wife is dead. And you ran out of the house. Would you not drive the same way you always have to church because you would assume that's the path she took, right? So you would assume that you would come across it or wherever. You wouldn't sit there and say, "Where would that be, guys? Where did you find her body?" No, you'd be like, "Oh my God." And you would jump in the car and just start heading there because you would assume she's at the church where said she was going to go or along the way. You're assuming it. This is nothing. This is literally like in court. Wouldn't this be just circumstantial? I mean, the fact that he came across the crime scene doesn't prove he knew the crime scene. It proves he was trying to find his wife. And when he got a message she was hurt, he knew the path she would take.
Right. But you'd also have to think that the brother and father would know her habits too. And
not necessarily
would presumably know which path she was, at least in the vicinity of. So, I mean, you'd think they'd have stumbled across it too, if that were the case.
Yeah. And also I'm sorry if I killed someone and the cops called me and said, "Hey, we're here with a body. Would you happen to know where this is?" I'd be like, "I've never been there. Never. Don't know where that is. In fact, I'm out of town. Sorry." Like I wouldn't.
Devil, you are the
driving
father of
up.
lies. You are the father of lies. So we know. We know.
Well, yeah. That's why I said if I ever killed somebody, air quotes.
All right, OJ.
Yeah.
The glove fits. You must have quit.
Because I could have sworn, isn't there a book out there that says that you come to kill and destroy?
It's a lie,
That might
though.
It might be.
Yeah, good boy.
I think the husband did it. I don't know.
I'm kind of with Larry on this one. I think the husband did too. I think Suka nailed it.
I'd say
think
none.
because of the vagueness of the note that was sent, right? Or the vagueness. It says something like this note, but yeah, the vagueness of it was sent. I think
Is
and they sent the note to all three of them, right? They sent a version of the note to all three of them, but only the husband showed up, which
And
means that he
who-
would have known where.
and also, in what world do the cops write notes when this kind of shit happens? Right? It's like, oh
Well, this
crap,
whole
we gotta
thing is
let the
ridiculous, man. Like-
family, we gotta let
Like
the family
you said,
know.
who
Give
uses
me
block
a
of ice to
scribe.
hang themselves?
Yeah, give me a scribe. We gotta let the family know. It's all like, we could call them. Don't freaking question it. Get somebody to write a letter for me. But I'd go with none. But that's just me.
He's being overthunk again. Yeah,
Is
probably.
this the person that was hit on the road that there wasn't enough evidence earlier? They're like giving us the second half of it.
It must be.
It could have been. Could have been. I think I'm gonna go. Husband. Final answer for me.
Yeah, I think the husband did it. What is the chat saying?
Oh, they're all on board with the husband thing, except Aaron Laura, who said,
The
let's see.
sequel.
I gotta scroll up a little bit. Yeah, I think she found a block of ice on the road and put it in her wine. Yeah, and she's saying none. She's saying none because I think she did actually have the question says husband, brother, and father. The answers don't have all three of them. Yeah. That's true too. But I'm gonna stick with husband.
All right. Well, majority is saying husband, so let's find out. It was the husband. See, it wasn't simple this time. The husband showed up. They said, "Hey, come to the crime spot. Whoever shows up did it." The flashback. The husband reaching the crime spot without the message specifying the location adds a layer of suspicion. Here's a more detailed explanation. Message ambiguity. The message sent to the husband, brother, and father didn't specify the location of the murder. This means that they all received a general notification about the crime, but without details where it occurred. Husband's specific arrival. Despite the lack of location details, only the husband managed to reach the exact crime spot. His ability to pinpoint the location raises questions about how he knew where the murder took place. Possible involvement. The specific arrival of the husband could suggest that he had prior knowledge of the crime scene, potentially indicating his involvement in the murder. If he didn't have information about the location through the official channels, his ability to reach the crime spot becomes more suspicious. In light of these observations, it becomes reasonable to consider that the husband as a prime suspect in the murder case. The message's ambiguity and his specific arrival create a connection that warrants further investigation into his possible role in the crime.
Nice. We should have
Devil
like
talk
one
too
more
much.
question, right?
That's why I'm gonna get convicted. I could get
Devil
this guy
talk
off.
too much.
That's all circumstantial. You got no.
Alrighty. So we're about to hit this will be it because we're about to hit the 2-hour mark. A man was murdered inside his own house. Police asked the maid and the man's wife about where they were when this happened. The wife said she had gone to the market. The maid said she was not well, and that was why she didn't come for the job that day. Who was lying?
Okay, man was murdered inside his own house. Police asked the man.
Hmm.
I would say there's not enough evidence
Yeah.
because
Same thing.
you have there's no in what we're reading here. Nothing disproves either of their things. It's not saying he was in a clean house, thereby disputing what the maid said.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they both say they've got alibis, but the fact is if she wasn't feeling well and stayed in bed and all that, there's no way to corroborate that. Whereas if the wife had gone to the market, there would have been people who had seen her there. They could prove that she was where she said she was. It's probably, it can't be said, but I kind of want to lean towards the maid.
You can look on her thing and see if she was playing something on, Netflix or some shit. Check the records.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Carrie brings up a point though too. Is the wife is lying? It's the maid's job to go to the market.
But the maid didn't go to
Oh,
work
that's
that
very
day.
true. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
and
So that's
if she
why the
didn't
wife was going. So actually,
Maid
they
said
kind
she
of
was
helps
not
both
well.
theirs.
Well, the thing is that the maid doesn't have anybody corroborating her story, so she could just say she wasn't well, and then calls in and says, "Hey, I'm sick. I can't go to the store or anything." The wife says, "Okay, I'm gonna go." She goes. The maid comes around, offs the husband, and then when the police comes around, she's like, "Hey, I was sick. I called in and
But
told them I was sick."
but then the wife corroborates her story. She called in and said, "I'm sick." The wife says she did call in and say she was sick. That corroborates that she was sick. You can say that, yeah, she then went out after that to kill him and stuff. But like I said, you would still have to prove it. There's nothing in there's nothing in what's written there that says one way or the other. Like I said, if it said the man was found murdered inside a clean house, you could infer that the maid went, cleaned, and then killed him. But that's not what we have here. It literally just says he found inside his house dead. Well, that's innocuous. You have to be able to disprove their things. So neither one of them is found to be lying at this point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, the wife, yeah, the wife. See, she uses the wife to get an alibi. The wife can't prove that she was actually sick. She just knows that the maid called her and said she was sick. The maid could have been lying. She
Yeah.
tells her, "Hey, I'm sick," to get the wife out the house, and she leaves. The maid's not really sick. She shows up, kills and murders the husband and leaves.
Yeah, it's very well possible and probably could have happened. The problem is saying who is lying. They haven't established either of them are lying. And we can't because there's nothing in the writing that establishes one or the other is lying. In fact, it kind of backs it up because, like you said, the wife would be going to the store because the maid didn't show up, so she couldn't go to the store. They kind of back each other up. But like I said, while you're right, the maid could have very well killed him. We can't establish she lied because there's no evidence of it in what he wrote.
But you know what? Here's another interesting one too, though. And I'm seeing it. The maid and wife could have been on it together. The maid could have called in. She gets an alibi. The wife kills the husband, goes to the store and says, "Hey, I was at the store because the maid called in sick."
But one of the choices is in both. So
yeah, so it can't be said which one of them actually did it because either scenario is possible. The maid could have lied to the wife to get her out the house, showing up and kill the husband, or the maid could have really been sick, and the wife kills him and leaves leaves to give herself an alibi.
And of course, the wife and maid are Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Poisoned ice cubes. Let's be very clear, people.
Not the rapper. Today was not a good day for that man.
Here's this nagging thought in the back of my head, and I know this is getting into the overthinking and shit again. But this, I want to go with it can't be said because this also doesn't give us any indication about whether or not the maid and the wife are the only two suspects. What if they're both telling the truth and he was murdered by someone else?
True. That's why it can't be said.
Yeah.
Did they send them a letter saying, "Come to the crime where the body is"? is the question. Like,
On the
did they
side of the
pin-
road with a giant ice cube.
Yeah, did they pin it out? Did they have like somebody there using calligraphy, writing out this beautiful letter? You know, like I want to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Beak, I agree. I'm gonna go with the can't be said because I think that they're only talking to 2 potential suspects. There may be others.
Yeah, I'm going with it can't be said as well.
Yeah.
What's your decision, Mr. Devil?
Yeah, it can't be said in that way, essentially from the beginning.
All right, let's see. Yeah, can't be said. Boom.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good call.
I'm with.
We
I'm
got
with
80 out of 80 out of 100. So,
Nice.
hey, I mean, we passed.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
Managed to stretch this out for the better part of an hour too. So
Yeah,
I'm
we
with-
did.
Well, what we've come away with is I'm with the chat. I'll never trust an ice cube again.
Me
Right?
neither. Not the wrapper, not the ice cube that's in my refrigerator right now. None of them.
Yeah.
Good
Yep.
job, you
And
guys.
yeah, good job, chat, because you guys nailed like 7 of those. So.
Yeah, for real. Well, that is it. So we ran out of time for the Fell Army, but we can always bring that back. I can roll that over to next week. It wasn't week specific. Devil, you wanna plug anything before we leave?
Yeah, here in 20 minutes, 23. I'll be over at the pub. Come hang out with us / show of the year. Yeah, should be fun. We got a full packed house. If everyone shows up.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So yes. Sorry.
no. Oh no. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna say that's where you can find me next is with Devil over on the pub here in about 22 minutes or give or take. So we gotta Devil go to sleep. We can't. We got another like stream here in a little bit.
Yeah, they're gonna be up for like another 3 hours at least.
It was pretty fun. She was yelling at Shadow to go to sleep in the chat earlier today. He's in. If you hadn't seen what he said, Amir, he's in Thailand right now. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon there.
Yeah. He's in Thailand doing things that he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And he's doing
Oh,
it
I'm
for
sorry.
$20. He's doing it for $20.
He's in Taipei. He's in Taiwan, not Thailand.
Yeah, but he's still doing it for $20. So, as for me, you guys can catch me here next week with my co-host. We're gonna be bringing in the New Year's, so we want to hit it with a good uppercut. But yeah, call it. Monsters Ball will be back next week, and we'll have some more stuff for you guys to bring in the new year. Tomorrow, you can catch me in the chat as a moderator on the world famous Exile Lioness 2 channel if she's on tomorrow. But considering she fell down the stairs, she might want to take the day off and recuperate, and I don't blame her. And that is it for me.
Yep. So after the pub tomorrow afternoon, we'll be back here for Screaming Into the Void, the last episode of Screaming Into the Void for the year. And presumably if there's an Exile Linus stream tomorrow night, we'll also be over there. Otherwise, I think I've only got one other stream coming up after that before the year's over, and that's over on Adam the Renaissance Nerd's channel for Mellow Mondays on Monday. And then we're back here next week for Abyssal Musings for the first episode of the new year. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us and having fun with this. This particular quiz is like, I know we were overthinking it a little bit and get a little heated and all that stuff, but it was fun as hell. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I hope you all did too. And we'll see you all next time. Remember, it could always be worse. Yo, wait, what?
I was gonna say, yeah, we'll do more of these, and I'm definitely gonna create some type of quiz in this type of vein. I've been working on trying to figure out how it's gonna go about it, but I think I know. but I want it to be a fluid story,
Mhm.
you know, with the questions.
Hire an Indian dude named Brad who sucks.
Go sleep. Anyway,
Yep.
sorry, Sam.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Yeah, it could always be worse, folks. Remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see y'all soon.
Toodles.
As soon as I